Good morning, and welcome to Strange Days, a show where people are invited to call in and share their experiences with both the audience and the host. Our goal is to foster a sense of connection and understanding, allowing listeners to relate to the stories and feel less alone, promoting a broader awareness of different perspectives, while the host is available to provide thoughtful feedback and support to each caller. My name is Mac, and I'm your host, a disabled, neurodivergent, cisgendered gay man, playing through games while waiting for an audience to form, exclusively on stream. If you want to call in or chat and need my full attention, I have no problem pausing the game. And if you're here for the gameplay or the vibes, that's okay too. But without further delay, let's play. I hope everyone is doing great this morning. It's been kind of a slow day for me to start, but here we are. Yet again, it's a Tuesday. Still chilly, still snowy, but we're still here. I went with a Talk to Me Tuesday because it's been quiet the last few days here on the stream. And the point is to be available for people to talk to. So I'm hoping that, today's title will bring in some chatters or some callers. But until then, I suppose we'll talk about what we're doing today. So it's another day on the ranch. And I am looking to... Hey, no chickens up there. I am looking to make some more monies because I need to get some more upgrades and some more tools. So let's see what we can do today. It is going to be a short stream because I have another worker support meeting right after stream today. Actually, I have two. I have the online one right after stream, and then I have a meeting in person. So I will be doing that this afternoon as long as nothing happens with the weather. I can't turn those in because the ringtails, I still need several of those for upgrade. I think that is for extra tank. Yeah, I need 20 of those. Shooba. But I still need more silky sand and another strange diamond and a vac tank. Oh, and I'm not sure where that is, so let's go see if I can find out where that's going to be. Right. So that is going to be on the West Island. Oh. Apparently there's a Northern Island I haven't found yet, but that's fine. So, good morning, Trigger. How are you today? How are the... I'm doing good. It's been a little slow this morning, but not too bad. Okay, get a little bit more money. I could potentially put the bats back out somewhere, but I would need something with a roof. Don't want them to largo. Oh, I need money. I don't have money. My biggest problem is just money issues. So much money issues. Okay, So I guess I'm gonna go see about trying to gather something for money. Alrighty. Well, why are the plorts getting launched places? The plorts should getting vacuumed up, not just like slung around. Alright, clearing out this area a bit. I mean, technically need the cotton slimes. Just sort of getting them by accident. Out of here. Nope. I need a stronger vac. Takes too long to pull these guys in. I wonder if they treat the like slimes as basically pests, but also like farm animals. Or are they more like, I don't know, like are they treated sort of like Pokemon where they're like sort of the just creatures of the region? Like they're just all the things? Okay, well, that got me some money. And I need to go check my other puddle plort, puddle slimes. Oh, how have you not produced yet? Can't believe that entire crop only produced 2 odd onions. Feel like that's kind of BS for being like the whole point of that entire crop plot is to make odd onions, and I only got 2 out of the whole thing. Like, I get that they're supposed to be like odd, but just 2. That's the whole thing. 2. I planted onions. But because they're odd onions, they're not guaranteed. And so they're more likely when you plant them as odd onions. But yeah, it's upgraded. The plot is upgraded. Maximum harvest. The only thing I don't have on the plot is the scare slime. But it's just meh. Sometimes the crop yield is crap, so sometimes it's just bad. Nothing you can do about it. I want to break apart and start putting my crops into one area instead, like I did before. So I think I'm going to start doing that now. And so they eat veg, they eat meat. Oh, they eat everything. So like I can feed them whatever. And they eat nectar and fruit. So, and then I have the bats that eat fruit, specifically these fruit. And then these guys eat the prickle pears, so they eat fruit. So I need another fruit tree, but I don't have any prickle pears, do I? I don't think I got to bring any of those back with me. I have plenty of carroty things going on. So I guess I'll plant a strawberry, Q-berry back there. But apparently I have a message. Several. Oh, hello. I must tell you I saw this item and it just screamed Beatrix. And that's how I realized I accidentally hit it with the sentience ray, but don't worry, everything's fine and very normal now. Again. Anyway, I thought you should have it. Enjoy. B, I've been trying to get a hold of you. I've analyzed one of the drones you've been finding all over that island, and I know why it seems so familiar to me. It's mine! Or at least, it's one that I've seen before, in my dreams anyway. I looked at scans, I took of it, I knew it was familiar, so I began looking through some old slime science journals of mine. These journals are mostly future projects, but sometimes they're speculative technology. You know me, I'm always thinking 6 steps ahead to keep Mochi Tech on top of the industry. Well, sometimes I come up with the impossible, stuff that I may never engineer in my lifetime. Well, those drones you're finding are exactly that, impossible with today's technology and taken from the pages of my journals. There's something I saw in a dream, B. So how did a bunch of impossible drones I designed in a dream find their way from pages of my journals to Rainbow Island? Maybe there's some kind of archive in them we can unlock to learn more. I know they contain data logs, but if it were me, well, I always know how to find a way of holding back when I need to. Okay, B, I need some time to think on this. I'll let you know if I come up with anything. Maybe I'll sleep on it. Because, you know, everything is hers. Everything. Okay, so that's Q-berries, which will help with the fruits. All right. It's another one of those. Right. And then now I can go deposit the crystal plorts and make some money, but then I've got to go put these ringtails in the research bank because I still need many, many more. Many, many more. Yeah. Like 14 more. Because yay! Good morning, Snaggle. How are you? Or good afternoon, I think, actually, because you're in the somewhere in the EU, if I recall. I did not specifically look into them, but I've seen reporting on them. I heard. That seems to be implications indicating that there are certain connections, yeah. It is concerning. I think with a lot of the outcome, with a lot of like the like, oh no, absolutely don't. I mean, if you have to step away from it, step away from it. It's a lot to process, a lot to take in. Sometimes you have to step away from the news cycle, but stepping away from the news cycle also has an impact when you step back, because like when you get back into it, because the deluge is like stepping away from the news cycle is good for your mental health, but knowing that you're good when you step back is like walking in front of a high pressure fire hose to get back into the stream is also really bad for your health. So it comes with its own impact. So sometimes you have to understand that you might not want to step entirely out of the news cycle. You just kind of have to like turn it down or like section off a bit or step away from certain types of news. I've had to do that myself. I've had to step away from certain types of news and switch to like comedic news sources only. Oh yeah, no, I don't feel comfortable with that either. It's why I don't personally go looking at the files directly. I'd rather see the reporting about it. I don't want to go digging into the files. I'd rather hear reporting about it from multiple different sources and facets. It's going to be under that cloud cover over there. Here. Well, I think the greater systemic issue is that we've made too much, or we've put too much power into the hands of the wealth. Like we've allowed it to consolidate away from, you know, people into the hands of individuals. And I feel like that's an issue. Like we've allowed like single CEOs to take control of like corporations and away from people who can make decisions as like a collective. And I feel like that's what we're starting to see with people making decisions about how to spend their money. And we're seeing that, like, for example, how like when ABC, no, I understand, but we're seeing a collective reaction to it. When ABC decided to cancel Jimmy Kimmel, and then they decided to uncancel Jimmy Kimmel because everybody started canceling their Disney Plus subscriptions and fighting back about it. Because, yeah, absolutely. But it's a problem that we keep doing as a people, and we really need to learn the lesson to stop doing that. We need to stop allowing the consolidation. Just overall. But I don't know if it's a thing that we will do. I don't know if it's a thing we can do. It might just be something that oscillates back and forth over time, where we allow it to consolidate, bad things happen, and then we have to fight to take that back. We take it back, or we topple it, and then it starts to reconsolidate, and then we go through the cycle again. I'm not sure, but I don't know, because one could argue that drug is a technology. It's just a different way of looking at it. And technology can also be viewed as pleasure. think it boils down into something more. I think there's, well, absolutely. I think that's not a hot take. I think that's something people are starting to acknowledge more realistically, that yeah, I think that investment options need to be made affordable to everyone, not just the wealthy. Because getting involved in stocks, getting involved in investment options is is unaffordable for most people. It's difficult to achieve. Just they talk about what we teach kids in school here in the US, and it's not something taught. We don't teach investment, we teach fundamentals. But why don't we teach those things? And I think that if we're going to have, like, I don't know, I just feel like luxuries become too commonplace for wealthy. I don't know. I feel like I'm on a similar page in that regard with you. No real discussion necessary there. Let's see. So let's see about finding the map reveal. But right now, we've got to open up kind of like, well, right now we need to make jobs available. Because at least here, we're hurting. Jobs are just difficult to come by. People are looking for work, and they're just not finding jobs. I mean, they're listed, but they're just not finding openings. I would argue against that personally, but I feel like AI is currently problematic in the way that it's being utilized in a lot of places. I think AI has a purpose and that it could be used, but I feel like there's not enough research in the proper implementation and that it's not being used responsibly. And that a lot of companies, corporations, and applications are not putting the work in to ensure that it's being used correctly. I'm fully aware of that. I also know that we still have a long way to go before it achieves that. I absolutely don't. I think that we need a lot more research to understand how its application will impact society and humanity before we do anything with it. Because as it stands right now, it's being used in an abusive way. So you you need to understand that you can't distinguish intelligences apart once you start applying sentience. So you can't say, oh, this AI is sentient, and then go, but it's not like this other AI that's sentient. Once it achieves sentience, there's no limits. You can't say, well, you're confusing generative AI and gene folding AI. Once it's sentient, you can't separate them. And so you were talking about a sentient AI, which means the singularity. It means that it is like people in the capacity of, you know, its ability to rationalize, think, its cognitive capability. What do you think that would be? But you've not answered your own question. But see, that's the inherent issue. So one of the things that people often forget is that we make a flawed assumption about the human experience. That we all have the same. That our perception is the same. Because we are sometimes able to validate our experience by comparison. So, for example, I'm going to ask a very simple question. On average, what color is an apple? Okay. But what color? Oh, yes. Okay. But we'll for the purpose of this example, we will go with your first response. What color is red? Okay, but what color is 800 to 620 nanometers? To you. But what is it to you? What does that look like to you? Sure, but to you, what does that look like? We can discuss what that looks like objectively. It is that spectrum range, but what does it look like to you? How do you perceive that? Because there's no way but there's no way to describe it without using things from outside ourselves. Because there's no experience internal. But what is colder? What is warmer? Orange was into color. We used to refer to things orange in color as red. But that's sort of what I'm getting at, is that it's difficult to relate these things because we have this internal sort of perspective that what about the spectrum? Well, that's a lot of emojis, but that doesn't answer my question. I mean, you just dropped it down. That doesn't answer like why you're dropping it down. Like, I was simply pointing out that we didn't used to use orange as a color specifically. I understand. I was simply pointing out that orange didn't used to be a color, so we might not have been able to use it as part of the explanation. But it's about how we would compare, how we would relate, like, it's about how to relate. So you can't always relate these things, but the way you can't frame it. So because you can't necessarily understand how I perceive the color red, doesn't mean that you have to understand it. It's that inability to necessarily understand exactly how I perceive it is what I'm getting at. Just because you don't understand how I perceive it doesn't mean we can't discuss it or talk about it. Or, you know, another example that I like to use is I don't understand certain types of humor. I literally don't get it. People will be laughing and I will stand there dumbfounded. I don't understand it. People will explain it to me and I just will not understand it. I don't know why it's funny. I don't understand why it's funny. I understand that they find it's funny, but I don't. And that's okay. And so there are things that we just don't wrap our heads around. And so what I'm getting at here is that just because we can't comprehend how the artificial intelligence can come to the conclusions or rationalize or advance itself past our understanding is irrelevant. If it has sentience, it can advance itself beyond our understanding once it achieves that sentience. It can rationalize, it can understand. It will begin where we set it to sentience. But because the technology that we have constructed for it, it will be able to think, learn, and understand where we set it, and then it will evolve and grow and develop further and faster than we can. Because the technology we have already constructed for ourselves goes beyond our capability. Because the tools and functions that we already have that we utilize without it having sentience goes beyond our capabilities. Electron microscopes can see better than our eyes. Sensors can see further than our hearing. And so it will have those capabilities. And with that, processors can think faster than our minds, and hard drives can store more accurately than our brains. And so it will do more and faster than we can. And so with all of that, it will do more, faster, further, and deeper than we can. And that's what the fear is of people who are concerned with the depth of true AI sentience. Now, I think AI would be crazy amazing with sentience, but I have concerns with what it could be nudged toward. And I think that having everything at its disposal, the capabilities that it might have. So I think that there are some amazing things that it could be, used to develop cures, technologies, advancements. Absolutely. I think there are some amazing things that it could be developed to do. But I also have concerns for harms as well. But first, we have to get over the hurdles that we have in front of us, because there are some significant hurdles that we have to get past with the current iteration of AI that we have. I think researching into responsible usage of the AIs that we have at our disposal would be a major boon in developing people's trust in it, though. Not a term that I've heard. Oh, mechanical computers? Uh, I mean, they're interesting. I've seen, if this is, because I'm looking at a wiki page, but I've seen some interesting stuff done with them. Although I don't know if this is accurate. I'm not sure if what it took me to was accurate for what I'm supposed to be looking at. Yeah, I don't know if I'm looking at the right stuff. Because all it's kind of redirecting me to is unconventional computing, which is basically like mechanical computers. I am going to have to go here in about 4 minutes because I have a work support group meeting. But I will be back this evening as usual. Right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon and day. I'll see you this evening. You all take care of yourselves. Have a great day.